Well, good evening, everyone. We will be starting with our slides in just a minute, but my name is Ellen Lindsay, and I'm the Executive Director over at AMSA Charter School. And I will pass the introductions over to Dr. Lewis. Where are you?
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight. I know everybody is very busy. We appreciate your time. I'm Dr. Lewis. I'm Miss Lindsay's assistant. I'm also a history teacher. Looking forward to talking with you tonight and sharing with you. And I will pass the baton to Mr. Naraki.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. It's a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, so I appreciate the commitment. We know that everybody's busy right now. So again, Mike Naraki, I'm the principal at AMSA. I'm in my 12th year right now at the school. I've been principal for a little over 3 years now, and you'll hear from me later on. Looking forward to this. I actually really enjoy this night because a lot of great questions come up. We'll see if anybody can stump us this year. But I will kick it over to, how about Mr. Amaral over there, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Mike. Good evening. My name is Mr. Amaral. I'm the upper school dean of students, the high school dean of students. Very happy to be here. I'm going to be just talking a little bit about the student behavior expectations at AMSA Charter School. And obviously, if you have any questions at the end, we're more than happy to answer those. And I will pass this over to Ms. Morin.
Hi, everybody. So nice to see all of you tonight. My name is Amanda Morin. I am a 6th grade English teacher and a directed studies teacher, as well as the 6th grade coordinator. Nice to see you all. Let's see, who do we have? Who else do we need to go to?
You call her Lynn McCluskey over there.
Ms. McCluskey.
Hi, my name is Lynn McCluskey. I'm the operations manager, and the things that I will be discussing today will be the transportation, busing, and the lunch program. And I can pass you on to Miss Edwards.
Actually, I was not going to have anything to say tonight because these people have all seen me multiple times in meetings. So I'm here to help you with your questions in the chat as we go along. Okay. Ellen, you're going to introduce the interpreters and how to get onto the language channels?
Yeah, I'll share my screen now so the instructions are up there, Ellen, while we're going here.
Okay. So you can take a look. We have interpreters here for both Spanish and Portuguese. And if you take a look at the bottom, if you click interpretation below, you can select a language, and the interpretation button is if you take your cursor and scroll it down by the bottom, the ribbon will show up, and it looks like a little circle, like a little globe there. If you click on that, it's going to give you the option of English, Portuguese, or Spanish. And if you need any help with that, just let us know in the chat, and we can help you along. So let's give that just a second for those who want to make that.
I know we have a Portuguese Spanish interpreter. Now that I'm sharing my screen, I can't see everybody, but sorry, so I don't have your names in front of me at this very moment. But the Portuguese interpreter, if you'd like to just jump in and quickly introduce yourself, that would probably be great. Followed by the Spanish interpreter. If they're out there.
Mr. Naraki, I'm not sure if they can jump in and out. So.
Oh, okay. So
they're in their channels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did see them both there.
Okay.
So that should be running okay. And if it's not, just please let us know in the chat, and we will attend to it. Okay. So I think we're ready to get going. We're going to have an opportunity in a few minutes also to meet our PTO co-presidents, and you will have an option to meet them, or you'll see them in a few slides. So we'll get going, and just want to first welcome everyone out tonight. Very excited to be here. We've done this event in a variety of ways, in person, online, involving the students, not involving the students, but we thought that this might be convenient for for folks right now. And with COVID, the way that things have been spreading quickly, we thought keeping it in Zoom would probably be the best option for us tonight. So, Mr. Naki, can we switch slides for me?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, so just, I know some of you have seen this slide before, but just information that's always good to know about some information about our charter school, and that is that AMSA is a free public charter school. We opened in 2005. We have 966 students enrolled in the school, and that's the top of our enrollment numbers. There'll be another slide coming in talking a little bit more about what is a charter school. But originally, when the application went into the Department of Education proposing the school, that is the number of students that we were approved for. So in order to change that, parents often say, will you expand the school? But in order to change that, you actually have to go through an approval process. So that is our full enrollment. We are fully enrolled, and we do have continue to have a wait list. So our core towns are Clinton, Maynard, Marlborough, and Hudson. And predominantly, you know, our students come from those 4 core towns, but we do have students from outside of those as well. In fact, about 38 towns, and our families speak approximately 27 languages. We are a very academic community. You probably are aware of our reputation. We do have very high expectations for our students, for their learning and for their behavior. But, you know, on the other hand, we also expect ourselves to be great educators and to you know, be very passionate about our subjects, about the things we teach, about the work that we do every day. So high expectations for everyone all the way around for our learning, and also for the way we conduct ourselves each day. And so just a little bit about a charter school. Once again, charter schools are free public schools. They are not part of the district school in the towns. We're separate from that. We have separate management. And as you all know, because you've been through the process, is that all of our students are admitted through a lottery system. As I mentioned, we do have a wait list. And as students leave, we do have to backfill those students in grades 6 through 9. So that's the way that the students are admitted into the school. And that the way that charter schools are funded, it's different. In a district school, it's funded through Chapter 70 funding through the state, but it's also comes from real estate taxes. So if the schools need more money, you may have been in a situation before where you had to vote to increase your taxes or to not support the schools. We are not funded in that way. Our funding comes through the state. It's a very complicated calculation, and we receive a certain amount of money from each town per student. And so, you know, we often say that the money follows the student, and that's how we're funded. And that our school is also governed by a volunteer board of trustees, which is different from our district school that has a school committee. Those school committee members, as you know, are voted by the people in the community to serve on the school committee. It doesn't work that way at a charter school. We have a board right now of 13 individuals. They have different backgrounds and talents. And you can, if you're interested to see who's on our board, it is on our website, which I will say is a great resource for all the information that we're going to give you tonight and any other additional questions that you might have. All our board meetings are public. They are public meetings, just as a school committee meeting would be, and we do encourage our parents to attend, or we also stream live on Facebook. So I would also suggest that you head on to Facebook or Instagram, and we're also on YouTube, and link yourself up so that you are receiving those regular updates. I'll also add that Mr. Finkel, who's doing our background work here tonight, he does a great job with a weekly newsletter and announcements that go out each day, but you need to go onto the website and sign up for those announcements. Also, we have an upcoming academic building project. We are building a new facility, a new building on campus. It will change the way that the campus is routed right now, and we'll be adding about 12 to 13 new classrooms, and 5 of those will be new science labs. We'll be adding 2 physics labs, 2 chemistry labs, and 1 biology lab. And we're very, very excited about that. So it's going to be a great opportunity as your children are coming in, especially in 6th grade. And we finish up this building in the next couple of years. Also, when we talk about free public school, there's no tuition to come to AMSA, but there are some costs associated with that. As you'll hear Mr. Amaral talk about the uniform, Ms. Moran was going to mention summer reading and English books. There's some small costs associated with that. We do offer financial aid to our students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. That covers field trips. It covers their uniforms, any kind of books or anything, materials that they need for school. So just, make sure you fill out the free and reduced lunch form. It's also on the website to get connected with those services quickly and early. And next one, Mr. Naraki. Kind of trying to fly through these. I'm going to turn the time over to Dr. Lewis, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about our mission and core values.
Hello again, everybody. And before I talk about mission and core values, just to reiterate what everybody said, we are so happy to have you at AMSA. So happy that you have made our school the choice for your children, your students. We believe it's the right choice. We are so happy you've made that choice, and we are going to work very hard for you and for your students. And, that's not something that we just say. That is our mission, and something that we hold very, very dear. We've been around since 2005, and the mission of our school, as it was enshrined in our origins in 2005, was that we are a school that believes that all students of all backgrounds and all abilities can excel in all subjects. It is, as Ms. Lindsay mentioned, it is a high expectation that every student can excel in all subjects. And it requires commitment, and it requires hard work, and it requires on our part, on the part of all of our fantastic teachers, our wonderful department chairs, our terrific administrators, hard work, commitment, dedication, and making sure that all of your students, all of your children have all of the supports that are necessary for them to succeed. If they're on 504 plans or IEPs or English language learners, or if they're struggling on a history test or a math test or in foreign language or an art class, whatever it is, struggle is part of the process. Making mistakes is part of the process. We have high expectations, but we have, we believe, all of the supports that can help your children succeed. So that is our mission. It is a mission premised on high expectations. To get to that mission, we believe it is important to work hard on everybody's part. We also believe that our core values will help us reach that mission. So a couple of years ago, many years after we created AMSA and established our mission, a couple of years ago, we brought all of the school community together to create our core values, and you can see those there. Those values are integrity, excellence, and community. So integrity is all about hard work. It is all about honesty. Excellence is about embracing the joy of learning, the love of learning, lighting the spark of learning in all of us throughout our entire community. And community is all about celebrating and appreciating the many diverse people, religions, backgrounds, families that we have at AMSA. We like to say that AMSA is a home away from home, and we take that very seriously. In many ways, community, if we don't have that community, if we don't have that love and that empathy and that compassion, the sharing and the understanding, everything else doesn't really matter. And creating that community in the classroom where your students will be, where your children will be, is absolutely, completely, and totally fundamental to everything that we do. We want your children to feel loved, to feel cared for, to feel understood, to be challenged, and to be supported. That is absolutely essential and very dear to all of us. So with that, And with that discussion about high expectations, part of the high expectations also includes some summer reading too. So I'm going to turn it over to our fantastic 6th grade English teacher, Miss Morin, to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis. In case you guys haven't gotten the message yet, we really are just so happy, honored almost, that you have chosen AMSA as the school to partner with to educate your children. Every year when I see the new 6th graders coming in, it is not lost on me the work that you did to have your child join us, and just the support and dedication that you have already show us that we have the best group of parents out there. And what I want to emphasize a bit is our summer reading program. Every grade level has summer reading, and incoming 6th graders, if you can go to the AMSA website and go to the prospective students drop down, then click on 6th grade summer reading, you will see the activities that Ms. O'Leary and I, the 2 English teachers for 6th grade, have chosen for your students this year. We are asking them to read a short story by Roald Dahl and create a few activities around that, and then read a choice book. And that is any book that they feel comfortable reading at any level. It does not matter. It can be a comic book. It can be anything that your student enjoys. We just feel that it is so important to continue reading throughout the summer to keep those skills up. So that is the summer reading program for the incoming 6th graders. And we will obviously be around over the summer if you have any questions about any of the activities. All you need to do is print those out. There is a PDF of the short story and all of the sheets that you need to do for the activities on there.
Miss Morin, well, you're all set, right, Miss Morin?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted me to
No. The only thing I'll point out, some families may be wondering when they'll see their child's schedule, and the incoming new students will receive their schedule on orientation day, which is August 29th this year. So it's that last Monday in August. We have a day of school for just all new incoming students, as well as all 9th graders. All students entering 9th grade, whether they're new or they've been at the school now throughout middle school. So we have 9th grade orientation and new student orientation. So just be mindful that your schedules will come out in late August. I'm going to go backwards.
If I could jump in just
yes,
with one other thing, you will hear from your child's directed study teacher probably beginning to mid-August. So you will know which directed study teacher your child will have, and they will give a lot of more information about the orientation, the half-day orientation on the 29th.
Yes, that's great. And we'll get into Ms. Morin just mentioned directed study, which is on a slide coming up that I will go into. I'm going to go backwards real quick. We've been talking, somebody prior mentioned the PTO. We have a slide for PTO. They have a great initiative that they're kicking off just this school year, this upcoming year. I'm very excited about it. Let me see if I can go backwards here. So Cindy Albert and Rebecca Doherty, I know that they're out there right now. Sorry, I can't see you. I hope you're still out there.
I'm here.
All right, great. Thanks, Cindy. I'll let you take it away. Exciting new initiative coming up, and they're going to talk through it very quickly here.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Rebecca Doherty, and I'm the co-president of the AMSA PTO, and Cindy.
And I'm Cindy Albert, the other co-president of the AMSA PTO, which is our parent-teacher organization. We just wanted to introduce ourselves. We don't want to take up too much time. We are the parent-teacher organization. It's our mission to support AMSA, AMSA's programs, enrichment programs, and we would like to welcome all of our new families. Mike was alluding to a couple of exciting programs, but an exciting program we have coming up is Host Families. And what this means to you is that we will be connecting some of our veteran families with new families, that's you, coming into the school. This family will be your point of contact for uniform questions, lunch questions, questions about which day it is, how do I know if it's day 1, how do I know if it's day 3? You'll know what we're talking about as you settle into the school. We're very excited to launch this. You'll be hearing a lot more about it over the summer, and we hope this will really help your transition into the new school and make you feel welcome and at home.
And then just to touch really quickly, as you are all keenly aware, the students will have to wear uniforms. And one of the things that the PTO offers is we have community uniform sales. So mark your calendar because we will have a summer sale July 25th and July 26th. Details will be forthcoming in regards to time, but it will be on the AMSA campus. And you can't see because the lights, but I am wearing some classy spirit wear. I just wanted to feature this just for you guys. I don't normally wear hats inside, but we do have some spirit wear available. I am going to put in the chat just ways to contact us immediately, and you guys can save that. We are on social media as well, so just search for AMSA PTO, and we're accessible. And just a reminder that all of you as parents and guardians are members of the AMSA PTO, and we welcome you.
All right. Thank you, Cindy and Rebecca. All the parents out there listening, they are very effective communicators, the entire PTO. So if you ever have any questions, they're great. They are certainly a great resource. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the host family initiative kicking off this year. All right, we'll proceed on here. I think that my slide is next. Yeah, so the directed study program. It's been mentioned a few times, and some of you out there who are brand new are probably wondering, what does that mean? So in the lower school, so for students grades 6 through 8, every day there's a 45-minute block period. So throughout our school schedule is actually each day has 8 45-minute class periods. It runs A through H block, and that rotates each day. Again, you'll learn much more about this as the year approaches, and the students will have plenty of practice during orientation day and during the first few days of school to get used to how our schedule operates. It looks confusing on paper when you first look at it, but the students get into a very nice groove pretty much right away. So they'll have plenty of support and guidance on how to navigate that. So each day, like I said, 8 45-minute periods. H block is directed study. It operates in a few different ways. It can run as a traditional study hall. Students will have the same directed study teacher beginning of the year throughout the entire year. They would go to that class each day, and the students have a couple options. They could treat it as a traditional study hall. They know what they need to complete. They may have some classwork to finish up, or they may know that they have some homework that evening, and they can get a jump start on that, and they can complete that in their directed study classroom. If I, for example, am a 6th grade student, another option here would be if I'm a 6th grade student and I'm sitting in math class and I'm a part of the lesson, but a lot of the information is just very confusing to me. I'm having a tough time grasping the concepts and all the materials that the teacher is presenting that day. So I make the decision as a student, or the teacher may initiate this as well, to meet with that particular math teacher during directed study. So what would happen in that case is if I'm a student and I have a math teacher, Miss Lowenthal is my math teacher, and I want to meet with Miss Lowenthal during directed study, I would ask Miss Lowenthal, could you sign a directed study pass for me? I would then, when directed study period hits, when that when that class period starts, I would go to my directed study teacher, which may be Miss Morin, for example, and I'd say, Miss Morin, I have a pass from Miss Lowenthal to see her for some extra math help. And Miss Morin, as my directed study teacher, would sign off on that, and I would go visit my math teacher. The great thing about directed study is the majority of middle school or lower school teachers are either free that period or they have a directed study of their own that period. So there's plenty of opportunity for students to seek out help if they need it. One other way that we utilize directed study, as you can see here on the second half of this slide, once every 8 school days, we have an advisory period for our students in grades 6 through 8. The advisory curriculum has been adjusted throughout the years. Little tweaks are made here and there. It originally originated from our counseling department, who created an entire curriculum among 2 of our lower school counselors. This year, we use a program through the University of Michigan called Trails, Trails. And that had some success for sure. I do think that next year, the counseling department, some of the directed study teachers are going to try and work to create sort of maybe a hybrid and use some of maybe the old lessons that we used to have and combine it with the lessons that we use this year. That remains to be seen. However, once every 8 days, the lower school students do take part in lessons around character building, different themes of the month that we've had in the past, bullying prevention week and things of that nature. They learn about responsibility, integrity, making good choices, developing friendships and connections. There's different, I'm trying to think of, handling strong emotions and things of that nature. There's all different topics and themes. There's around 20 lessons per year that the students take part in. It's a great program, has plenty of success, and we're constantly looking at it and reviewing it and revising it to fit the needs of our students. Next is a quick slide on student life in general. As many folks have mentioned tonight, there are high academic expectations of the school. We also do have quite a bit of fun. So please do know that. We have social events like dances and games, competitions. The PTO has sponsored some great events connecting families and students together. And they're also sponsors to some wonderful programs we have in the high school as well. We'll have field trips. I hope that we can get back to normalcy as far as getting our students back on our traditional field trips. 6th grade students have traditionally hiked up Mount Wachusett together. Great team building experience toward the beginning of the year. That's a tradition that has been put to a halt for a couple years now, but I do believe that we can get back to that. I'm hoping this upcoming fall. We have 26 different athletic teams across the board. That's counting middle school and high school combined. We compete in all 3 seasons of the school year, so fall, winter, and spring. Each sports season offers at least one sport that is a non-cut sport, meaning that everyone who tries out makes the team. Usually that's our track team. So in the fall, there's a cross-country program that is traditionally very, very large, usually has around 100 students participating in that. A great way to connect at the beginning of the year for our lower school students as well and feel like they're part of a team right off the bat. And then in the winter, there's also a winter track program for all students and a couple other non-cut sports. And then in the spring, we also have yet another massive track program. But along with that, we have basketball, we have baseball, we have a middle school boys basketball team. We have, like I said, track and field. We co-op in field hockey with Assabet. We co-op in hockey with Marlboro High School. We co-op in football with Maynard High School. So we have great collaboration with the nearby districts. Girls hockey team, we co-op with Algonquin High School as well. There's just so much. There are so many offerings through our athletic program. I encourage you to check out our website to learn more. Also, we have 40 or we have a little over 40 clubs at our school. These are after-school interest clubs. They could be academic clubs, or they could be health and fitness-related clubs and things of that nature. So as it mentions here, drama, math team, we have a coding club, Spanish immersion club, American music band, gaming club, and homework club. Those are some of the examples of specific lower school offerings. Homework club is actually an after-school care program for those families that may not be able to rely on traditional busing transportation for their students, but also can't pick them up right when dismissal occurs each day around 2:45 p.m. We have a homework club where students can stay after. Much more information will come out on that. One of our history teachers runs the homework club. So there is an after school care club that runs from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Each and every full day of school that we have throughout the school year. Again, stay tuned. If that sounds of interest to you, we'll definitely have more information coming out in writing on that program. So I will stop there and we're going to move on. Hold on, Mr. Amaral, I think it's, yep, just want to make sure. So Mr. Amaral is here covering for, he's the high school dean of students. He's covering for our lower school dean of students tonight, but he's going to go over some of the student behavioral expectations and some of our basic school policies. So Mr. Amaral, you can take it away.
Thanks, Mike. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming out tonight. And, you know, AMSA, I've been here for 11 years. Next year will be my 12th year. And we do have very high expectations for not only for learning, but also for behavior. So I'm gonna outline a few of our policies that I think that new families should know very, very intimately before their student starts, because you know, we want to avoid a lot of confusion around the uniform and around attendance and the policies that we have. So, okay. So first things first. So attendance is very important at school. Since we have these high expectations, it's really tough to learn and tough to get to know all the curriculum and everything that you need to do if you're not at school. I think everyone agrees with that. So one of the things we do offer is kind of an understanding that students are going to have some tough days, some sick days, etc., that they're going to have to spend outside of school. And we get that, right? So we give 15 unexcused absences for an entire school year. And what that basically is, and any unexcused absences, some examples of those are staying home sick without a doctor's visit, a death in the family, a dentist appointment, or something like a mental health care appointment as well. So those are unexcused absences. Some excused absences would be doctor's appointment, dentist. Like I just said, unfortunately, I just kind of messed that up a little bit. But those are definitely something that need to be accompanied with a doctor's note. So if you have gone to the doctors, those will be excused if you have a doctor's note. So any mental health care will be excused with a doctor's note. If you go to the dentist, will be excused with a doctor's note. And any death in the family will be excused with a note from the parent saying that they had a death in the family. So we have a few checkpoints for students when they have a certain number of absences that the school feels like we need to make sure we check in with the family. So at 5 unexcused absences, we send out an email. At 10 and then at 15, the student and the family are sent an email updating their attendance as kind of a reminder and as a check-in to hopefully spur some conversation around maybe why the student has been out so often and how can we get them support that they might need. If a student reaches 16 unexcused absences, they may lose credit to all their classes for the year. At that point, then they'll fall into a process called the attendance appeal, which decides whether they have been able to make academic progress with 16 absences. And so, you know, we really believe very strongly that a student needs to be in school. And although we give 15 unexcused absences for the entire year, it is very difficult for a student to be very successful often if they've spent that much time out of the classroom. So please encourage your student to get to school as much as possible. I think that would be the best way to go about it. So tardies to school is part of our attendance policy. AMSA believes students should be at school and classes on time as a foundation for their success. So some of the things that can be attributed to tardies, some of the discipline that can come from that would be 3 tardies to a specific class can result in an administrative detention. 5 tardies to school will result in an administrative detention after school. At 8 tardies to school, a student will have earned a Saturday detention, which is one of our harshest punishments for attendance situations, which is a 3-hour detention on Saturday from 8 to 11, set up by the Dean of Students and the family to make sure that they can coordinate that Saturday, depending on what the family has going on that weekend. Switching topics really quickly is to our cell phone policy. So AMSA understands our culture's dependence on cell phones, but we also believe that they can also be a big distraction for our learners. And so at the high school, students are allowed to carry their phones on their person, but cannot actively use their phones unless they are given permission by their teacher or a staff member. At the middle school, for most of you, I think as parents, students are not allowed to carry their phones on them. They are not allowed to carry their phones on them at school. They should be put in their locker at the start of the day. So all the middle school students will get a locker, and they're expected to put their cell phone in that locker at the beginning of the day. If a student has a cell phone violation, which means that they say they're in middle school or in high school and they're using their phone when they're not supposed to, what that usually results in is at first in the middle school, their phone gets taken away, and at the high school, and the parent has to come pick it up. So the first time that happens, we don't give it back to the student right away. The parent has to come pick it up. So I think that's really, really important to remember. It is a very strict policy, but it has been the most effective in deterring cell phone use throughout the day. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but it has been, in my opinion, for the last 4 years. I've been a dean of students, not only at the middle school and the high school. It has been the best deterrent for getting students to not use their cell phones at school. Moving on to the uniform, which I think is very, very important. AMSA believes that having a school uniform is important in building inclusiveness throughout our community. So that's one of the things that a uniform brings to a school, I think, is making sure that when the students step into our school, they're all at pretty much the same level with their clothing. They come in and they can establish relationships based off of their personality and their needs and wants and interests, rather than having to worry about what they're dressing like in the morning. So AMSA has 2 main uniform options. The first is the classroom uniform, which you can find the example on our website, and Mr. Finkel just sent that into the chat now, so please click there if you'd like to look a little bit and be more specific about what it is while I'm talking about it. And the second is our physical education uniform, which you can also find on the website and through the link that Mr. Finkel just posted. The physical education uniform is separate from the classroom uniform because we do not have locker rooms at AMSA for students changing during physical education. And the physical education uniform will be worn for the whole day on school days that your student has physical education, which is normally every other day based on our rotating schedule. So a few key points I think is that are very important to remember for new parents coming in is, if possible, multiple sets of uniforms should be purchased in case of rips, forgetting to wash specific items of the uniform, etc. If possible, that's the key word here, if possible. that would be wonderful. Our uniform provides for many different layering options through Land's End that your student can wear that will keep them warm or cool throughout the course of each season. So please take advantage of those layering options, because we do not allow students to wear jackets brought from home in the classroom. That's part of our uniform policy. They cannot wear their winter jackets in the classroom. So we have we've added a couple layering options in our Land's End website that you can buy. So please, please, please make sure that you take advantage of those options if possible. One of the things I think we've already mentioned, but I'll mention it again, is we also provide financial help for uniform purchases to all families who need it. So I think that's wonderful. So another thing is a typical situation and consequence for students who are out of uniform student comes to school with the wrong color pants on, or a polo shirt without the mandatory AMSA charter school logo on. Typically, these students who receive it will receive an after-school detention with the administration. So that's just a typical situation that happens, whether it's the wrong color or they're wearing a non-AMSA polo shirt, which, if you can see here, I have the logo right in the corner. That's what we look for when we have our uniforms, and the teachers look for uniform violations when they take attendance. So that's what we're looking for. And if a student has a shirt on, or even a polo shirt without one, most of the time, if they have a polo shirt without one, then they're probably waiting for it coming from Land's End. Typically that detention is not given at that point, because we probably had communication with the family and we know about the delay with Land's End. But that's a typical thing that happens with students, where they wear the wrong color khakis, or they wear something that doesn't fit into the uniform. So please make sure you're very familiar, you and your student are very familiar with the uniform policy here. It's pretty simple. It's very effectively laid out on the website and on the poster. And I think that if you have any issue with it, you can always contact myself or Mr. Montigian, the other dean of students at the middle school. We're very happy to help you with that as well. Mr. Finkel just posted it to the chat, so please take a look if you'd like. And so I guess the last thing here is the grade 6 and 7 string bag. So many of you may or may not know that we have very small hallways. If you've taken the tour at AMSA Charter School, you know that we have very small hallways at school. Most of the 6th and 7th grade, if not all of them, stay in the same building all day. And with that amount of traffic, with all the kids in the small hallways, we really, really need the extra space wherever we can find it. So that's why we ask you to buy a string bag for your 6th or 7th graders that are coming into school, because we just don't have the space. You may be asking yourself, why does the 8th grade not have to buy or wear a string bag? Well, the 8th grade have lockers in different buildings. They also travel to all 3 buildings sometimes, depending on their schedule. And so they are very migratory. They need to be able to move from building to building as quickly as possible. We only have 4 minutes between transitions to classes. And so it doesn't always afford them the ability to stop at their locker and get what they need. So we allow them to wear a backpack. So please remember, and we actually have a picture of it right on the screen. That's what we would like you to buy for your son or daughter coming into the middle school. That about wraps it up for me. I'm going to be here for the question and answer at the end. So thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lynn McCleskey, and I'm going to be covering transportation and the lunch program. You probably, for transportation, you have actually all already received an email asking you to register for transportation. We do have both Marlboro buses and 3 fee-based regional buses. Because AMSA is located in Marlboro, the charter rules allow us to access the Marlboro Public School buses at no cost. Currently, Marlboro Public Schools does not have a bus fee, which is why we're able to provide the Marlboro buses at no fee as well. So you'll notice that the marble buses are more like your traditional bus routes where they stop close to your house within walking distance. These bus routes should be available sometime in August. We also offer 3 fee-based regional buses. Now the difference with the regional buses is that they are meant to be more, have regional bus stops where they will not be your traditional bus routes where they're within walking distance of your house, but rather most likely you'll have to drive your student to one of the regional stops on the buses. And they will cover the towns of Clinton, Maiden, and Hudson. And in the past, we've also had a stop in Shrewsbury. And this is all dependent on who registered for the bus. Now, if anybody has missed that deadline to register for the buses, please reach out to me and we can work with you to get you registered for the Marlboro or the regional buses. And again, these bus routes should be available sometime in August. And then in regards to our lunch program here at AMSA, we do not have an active kitchen at AMSA, which is why we use a catering vendor to provide lunches. So this creates a very different situation at AMSA than you'll have seen in the traditional public schools, where you can, in your traditional public schools, you're able to just go to the cafeteria, and if you choose to buy lunch that day, you can buy lunch. Unfortunately, no, we're not able to provide that same availability here at AMSA. Rather, we have a lunch program. It's actually a wonderful lunch program that provides several different options. Again, this is a fee-based lunch program. We will provide options of a hot lunch, a vegetarian option, or a sandwich or a salad option. But these lunches do need to be pre-ordered 1 month in advance every month. So for instance, for the start of school, the cutoff to order lunches will be August 12th. So we do order lunches 1 month at a time. You will go online into our website. We are currently moving to a new lunch ordering system. So the information that's currently online right now is not the most updated information, but you can go online under lunches and you can kind of get a sense of how the system works. So we will send an email out each month letting you know that lunch ordering is open. And then we will also send several reminders and also a reminder when lunch ordering is about to close. So you will go in and you will pre-order lunches for the following month. We do not currently have breakfast available. Some of the schools that you're coming from might have had breakfast available, but currently we do not have breakfast available at AMSA. Your student is free to bring their own lunch every day, but if you'd like to take advantage of the the catered lunch option, then we'll make sure to be sending you those emails each month. And I'll be here for the question and answer as well. So if anybody has any questions, or if anybody has any questions, after this session, please feel free to reach out to me at any time regarding either transportation or lunch program.
All right, everyone, before we, I think that's the end of our slide deck. There's some email addresses here. You heard from Mr. Amaral, our Dean of Students for the high school. He's not listed here. We'll have to add that in next time. But Anthony Montesian, who is the Dean of Students for the lower school for grades 6 through 8, his email is on here. Lynn McCluskey, who you just heard from, who I have a feeling will receive many questions. Her email is the second one down there. And now we can open it up to questions. If you would like to type into the chat, that's perfectly fine. If you would like to verbally if you'd like to ask your question over the microphone, I believe you just have to ask to unmute, and our host behind the scenes, Mr. Finkel, will unmute you and you can ask a question. You just need to notify him. Mr. Finkel, I'm not sure exactly how they notify you. Maybe a request comes in.
Actually, Mr. Naraki, I just said it so anyone can unmute themselves to make it simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's open forum right now. It's free for all.
And Mike, you may want to take the slides down so we can see a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank
That's a very good point, Miss Lindsay. There we go.
There we go. Thank you.
So we'll watch the chat, and then if anybody wants to chime in verbally, go ahead.
I think Linda Edwards has been answering some of the questions, but if we've missed anything and you have additional questions or there's something we missed in the chat, please feel free.
Yes, hi. I actually have a question regarding the COVID. How is the school dealing with when students have to miss because somebody in the family tested positive or they tested positive? So how are we doing that in the school?
I can take that. So we have right now, if a student tests positive for COVID, we give the family the option of that student attending class virtually, simply to listen into the class. So the teachers will be notified by our nurses are the key players in this. Those are you want to communicate everything through our health office, and they would have an entire discussion with each family to go over the options. For the most part, our students opt in to Zoom in, if you will, or attend class virtually. The teacher will send them a link. The student can attend class if they wish, and listen in on what's going on with the instruction. That's how we've been handling that. And of course, any student who misses school due to COVID or for any other reason, they have the opportunity to make up all of their assessments and any missed work.
We also use Google Classroom too, Mike. It's easy for the students to go in and get a lot of their work done there as well.
We use Google Classroom as our main platform. Our teachers use that to post assignments, notes, and things of that nature. So we always encourage students to stay on top of that as well. We have had quite positive reviews with how we have handled the academics for students when they are out due to COVID.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the question.
I just wanted to jump in real quickly because one thing I forgot. If any of your families will qualify for free and reduced lunch, I just wanted to let you know that the new application for the 2022-23 school year doesn't usually come out until sometime in July, possibly into the middle of beginning of August. And that's something that is completely out of our control. So as soon as that form becomes available, we will send an email to all AMSA families and let you know that it is available, and it will be available on our website. So I just want to let everybody know that.
There was a question in the chat. Linda, perhaps you can jump in here about if the student has a new 504 plan, does that go through you or does it go through the school counseling office initially?
It can come to me or it can go directly to Cam Huston. I can put her email in the chat, but if you all have my email, just forward it to me and I will forward it on for now.
Thank you, Linda.
Our daughter who's going to be starting is I call a social butterfly. She gets into sports or one of the clubs or multiple clubs and multiple sports because she's very active. What's the policy if does she have to keep a certain GPA in order to stay in those clubs or sports?
Yeah, that's a very good question. For our athletic programs, there are rules that we follow through the MIAA, which is the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Administration. If you Google MIAA, you can see pretty much everything about. They're the governing body of all of Massachusetts, athletic for almost every high school around when it comes to the athletic programs, and we follow their policies, which really focuses on report card grades. So at AMSA, we're a little more strict. If a student has one failing grade on their report card, sorry, I got a text message here. If a student has one failing grade on their report card, they would be ineligible to compete in athletics. And then throughout the school term or through the quarter, the athletic director does a very nice job of keeping tabs on students' grades, and he'll have discussions with families and students if he feels like there's some struggles going on in the classroom. And he'll have those students attend after school help sessions for their academics rather than attend practices and whatnot. So athletics quite strict. With the clubs, we don't have anything that we really that's one of those situations where some students, some of their main motivation to attend school or to really stay engaged in school is reliant on their participation in clubs and activities. So we're more lenient in that area. Obviously, if there's many failing grades or grades of concern across the board, we'll talk about that. But we're more lenient when it comes to clubs. We want our students to stay engaged and socialize with their peers. And our clubs do have academic value. Most of them do have true academic value, and we don't want to take that away from the students necessarily. So we encourage your daughter I know you said she's a social butterfly. We encourage her to take part in as many activities as she can handle, and she'll have a good time. She'll have a good time.
Mr. Naraki, can I also just add something about clubs? I've helped to run a couple clubs at AMSA. We view our clubs as just what you're mentioning with your daughter, that they're places for social activity, places for kids who might be a little bit shy or might be really rambunctious and anxious to meet more people. It's that opportunity to do that, in addition to all the other things that the clubs do. So it's academic, but it's also very much social and emotional too. A place where students can meet others like them, meet new friends, and do some very interesting things in each of their clubs.
Thank you.
You got it.
I have another question. So my son is coming. He is he will be joining the 6th grade class. And he's coming from, 2 years of no homework, and he's very nervous about how much homework he will be getting in the new school. So what are we expecting for homework? Is it going to be eased in back in, or is it just going to be like every subject there's homework? How much homework are we talking about?
Very good question. I'm going to Miss Morin. Do you mind helping assist? She's the 6th grade class advisor. She works with the teaching staff in the 6th grade. She can give you a much better idea of maybe some of the average amount of time per night or per week. Miss Morin, I'll let you take it away.
Certainly, thank you. Typically, across the 6th grade team, we do our very best to be respectful of a child's time outside of the classroom. We are not in any way, shape, or form out there to overload your child with a lot of work outside of school. Many of us give time in the classroom to complete homework. And as Mr. Naraki was talking about directed study, that is the first and best option to complete work so that it does not go home. Now, there is an ugly rumor out there that the English teachers give the most homework on the 6th grade team. I don't know that I believe that, but we certainly expect your student at the very least to be reading every night, at least 15 minutes a night. And there will be generally in the English classes between 10 and 15 minutes of homework each night, depending at the pace that they work. We are also very flexible. So if there is a music recital or soccer practice or anything on a given night, we very generally will give homework at the beginning of the week. And this is a great way for your child to start to learn how to manage their time, so that if they know Tuesday night I am not able to do work, they can then schedule homework in for a Wednesday night when the assignment is due on Thursday. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you very much. I was just, afraid that it was just going to be dumped in so much work. And he's coming from a school that hasn't had any homework for a while. It's going to get, he will need time to adjust to everything, which it's fine. And yes, it's a great opportunity to learn time management. But I was just afraid that it was going to overwhelm him.
And well, absolutely, we don't start out, with a whole lot of homework at the beginning of the year because there are classroom procedures to learn. We need to get to know each other, like Mr. Naraki was talking about. And Dr. Lewis as well. If we're going to be a community, we need to be able to act as a community, and a lot of that begins with respect in the classroom, respect for each other and materials and teachers and things like that. So it's not as if you're going to come home and be slammed with homework in those first few weeks of school. We will gradually increase the amount of homework so that towards the end of the year, your child will feel very comfortable in the 7th grade when there is an even higher expectation for work done outside of the classroom there.
Thank you.
I would like to just jump in here for a moment because I'm off the point that Miss Morin just made, which is 6th grade is a training year, but this does continue to get more intense as you go on through AMSA. I say that our students are powerhouse academics. They do work hard. When they're in high school, there's advanced placement classes. There's classes that are beyond that, college level classes. And our students are very, very well prepared when they leave AMSA. I've never had a student come back, one of our alumni, and say that they weren't prepared for college or for life beyond AMSA. They are. We do support them throughout the program, throughout their 7 years at the school. But the expectations, and I know we have some new families here from some of the older grades as well, the expectations do increase as the years go on. Once again, we have the supports in place, but the expectation of being a hard worker and doing your best is definitely there.
Thank you.
I have a question about lunches, the lunch program. I have a child, she's allergic to gluten. She's also allergic to dairy. Right now, for the past 2 years, I've been making her lunch daily for lunch. But with this new program, does she have options? Or is there options in the lunch program for us to be able to have her do lunches at school?
Yeah, so we can certainly, you can take a look at the menu. It will be listed every month, and we can certainly reach out to our catering company and to get lists of ingredients for you so that you will know whether there's any gluten or whether there is any dairy products in any of the items that they're making. They have, just to give you a heads up, they have told us that they cannot honor any they are a nut-free facility, which we know, which is great. So any other allergies, we can certainly work within them. I can't promise you that every day there will be some options, but there are definitely some days that there'll be options. For instance, we always have a salad option. We always have vegetarian, and they vary every day. So we can certainly get you ingredients to make sure that you can know whether what options might be available each day.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any other, I know Linda is looking at the chat box. Any other questions in there that we perhaps have missed? Math assessment. Oh.
Yeah, does somebody want to take the question about, if you're assigned to a certain level of math in 6th grade, does that mean you're stuck there forever?
No, that does not mean that. The math team, I think, does a very nice job. Math teachers and the math department they really do pay close attention to performance, especially at the beginning of the school year. And, I think we're quite realistic. The placement test that everyone took is just one snippet of the big puzzle here, right? So if the performance, students are struggling in a level that they were assigned to, and that shows a consistent pattern, the communication will start up with the parents or guardians of that student to have discussions and discuss maybe potentially moving down a level that would be more supportive of the student's needs at that particular point in time. And then vice versa, the student's performing at a very high level and there's room for advancement to another level, the math department would be in touch with families to discuss that. I do think that they keep close tabs on that traditionally here at the school. So no, you're not locked in.
If I could just reiterate what Mr. Naraki just said, our math department, the chair of our math department is a terrific mathematician and very passionate advocate of math. And she has a saying that everybody can be a mathematician. And she believes very thoroughly that every student can learn math. They can learn math at a very deep level. And her goal is to get them through the middle school and into high school and into the most challenging courses. And she does not believe, we do not believe that if a student is placed into one class, that's where they will be. Our goal is to get students to the best of their abilities, to the highest mathematical achievements possible. Every one of our students can be a great mathematician.
There's a question about, let's see, assignment to different classes based on learning levels. So when your students came in, you noticed, I'm sure you drove them to have the math assessment, which we've just spoken about. They also took a Lexia reading assessment, and that's just purely to see if they need to be placed in the reading class or not. But we don't have levels in the other classes in the middle school. When students get into high school, that's when you start to see a little bit of the difference between the college prep classes, honors classes, advanced placement, AP, college board classes, and the like. But you won't see that in the middle school. Anything else? Any other questions?
I still have one.
Sure.
This is one I'm sure that's on other parents' minds. Do we have anything to worry about as far as safety and security of our children, considering what has just recently happened? Not here in Massachusetts, but have we had any issues that we, as parents, need to be concerned?
Oh, well, I don't think you need to be concerned. I don't want to guarantee anything. I don't think we can guarantee 100%. You never know. Just, these, I know you're referring to, what happened recently in Texas, the tragedy down there.
Yes.
We have, just so everyone knows, we work with the Marlboro Police Department. We're in close contact with them. We run an ALICE program at the school, which is ALICE. If anyone here is coming from Marlboro Public Schools, they definitely work with the Marlboro, their school system works with the Marlboro Police on ALICE, which is, an active threat response system, if you will, or process that we follow. We train all new students on this. We have an informational training with all new staff, all new students on how to respond to particular potential threats that may enter the campus. The police are usually present with us for those informational sessions. And then also next year, we are going to have a drill where we'll have a scenario for, students and staff to respond to. And when we do run that drill, we will notify the community, parental community in advance that's coming up. We ran a drill, last time we ran one was quite a while ago because we've had so many disruptions due to scheduling disruptions due to COVID. But we do have, and we also have a crisis response team on campus here with, many different administrators and school counselors and some teaching staff as well, I believe, where we do meet and discuss not only active threats, but also just response to all forms of crisis in general. So no, it's the number one thing that we think about. It's on our mind just to make sure everybody is safe, whether that's, simply driving on our campus, going through our traffic pattern. We're making sure that we're trying to, we're focusing on the safety in that regard, all the way to the more serious matters that you're referring to. So it's constantly on our mind, and we're always happy to receive feedback from parents and students as well. But you can be assured that we do have close connections with the police department and a thorough process that we follow.
If you've been on our campus, we have 3 buildings. And during the school day, you can only get, unless you have the code, as the adults do, our students do not have the security codes. You can come in one door of each of the buildings. And we do have a person, a live person at each door that has security cameras and buzzes parents and people in and out. We're also in the process of getting all new security cameras updated and put into the campus as well. So as Mike said, there's nothing more important than the safety of your children. And so we do take that very, very seriously, and certainly, do the best we can. But our students are moving between buildings, and they head over to 4 Kicks for their gym classes, and they do that with the supervision of an adult as well. But there's a lot of movement going around campus. Mike mentioned, if you've driven on campus recently, you'll know that the road drives up between the buildings, and we're in the process of changing that as part of our construction project that I mentioned earlier. And you'll be coming in, the traffic pattern will be completely changed. You'll be coming in over by the 165, the white building, which is where the Smock Daycare Center is. You'll be entering there, and you'll be circling all the way back around the big brick building, which is the 199 building. And you will no longer be going through in between buildings. And one of the reasons we're doing that is for the safety of the children who are passing between buildings during the school day. So it definitely is, as Mike said, is on our mind all the time.
If I could just add one more thing too, we have a very active administrative staff, Mr. Amaral, our upper school dean, Mr. Montesian, our lower school dean, Mr. Naraki, Ms. Sensei, our principal and vice principal. They're out and about constantly. They're out moving about between the buildings, as well as our teachers too. And they're constantly looking after our students. And we pride ourselves on knowing our students very well. We also have a first-rate counseling department that is very much concerned with the social and emotional well-being of all of our students too. So that is definitely very much the number one priority at our school.
Thank you all for your input. I really feel much better.
It's very difficult sending your children off to school just every day, especially in the climate that we're in now. And then to send your children to a new school with new people, we know that you're putting a lot of faith in us. And we love our school, and we love our kids. We want it to be a safe environment, and we want it to be a part of your community. When you come on campus, we want you to feel at home visiting us and coming in for the business that you need to, and the visits, and to be, with our teachers, attend events. We want you to feel just as safe there as well when you join us. So we really want everybody and our parents and children to be part of that community and feel safe there at the school. Anything else that is outstanding? The other thing too is that we are all really very accessible to you. So feel free to reach out to anyone who you think can answer questions for you. If you take a look at on the website, which I would recommend you spend some time on the website. If you take a look at contacts, my dog is bumping my elbow here. But if you take a look at contacts and you click on their directory, you'll see different topics, and there'll be a name or email address attached to that, and you can feel free to reach out. Busing's big deal. Lunches are a big deal. lockers, things like that. But there's a lot of people around to help and support you in making the adjustment. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everybody. Go Eagles!